Okay, guys, so no program would be complete without a squat variation. So we've got 3 different stages of squat here, just like the other exercises. We're going to be starting off with our beginner version. So to start off with, probably the easiest way to get into squats, and if you've not done them before, or if you're a little bit new to training in general, is a box squat. Okay, so I'm going to be using a chair here. You can use anything really that's an appropriate height. Obviously, the higher the chair is, the easier it's going to be, because you're going to have less distance to travel. The lower the floor it is, the harder it's going to be. So you could use a couch, maybe a footstool if you can squat quite deep. This kind of depends on your ability. Chair here is a good place to start. So with our squat, all we're thinking about doing is you want to reach back like you're not sure how far that chair away is. So to start off with, make sure you are close enough to the chair, but then to initiate the movement, you want to be back, push those hips back, try and think about breaking at the hip. So what we don't want to do is break at the knees and just have our knees shooting forward like this. We want to try and push those hips back, reaching back into that bottom position. On the way down, think about the knees being driven outwards on each way down. So following the line of the toes really would be a good place to start. Touching down the box, and then to get back up, try and not let your body weight sink into the chair too much. We don't want to slump over and be relaxed here. Keep a slight amount of tension, drive through the heels, back up to that top position. Okay? We can also play around with this one to make it a little bit easier or harder with the tempo. So I want to make it a little bit harder. I'm just going to slow that tempo right down, really slow the bottom position, slight pause, and then drive back up to standing tall. We're going to progress on from that. So we've got our box squat to start off with, and once again, you can play around the tempo to make it a little bit easier or harder. Next up, we're going to do a full bodyweight squat. We're going to add a pulse in, so this is going to make it a little bit more intense. So this time, you're going to look to break parallel. That seat there is roughly about parallel or just above. So next time, we're going to try and aim to break parallel with the floor. So that's my upper leg here is going to be breaking parallel with the floor. So I'm going to get a little bit deeper on my squats. Same thing, sitting back, driving the knees out on the way down. Toes will be slightly pointed out, not excessively. Pushing back, find that bottom position deep as you can on the squat. And what we're going to do with this pulse is we're going to come up roughly about a quarter to halfway for a little half rep, and then drive up back to standing tall. Okay, so down, and then all the way back up to the top. All right, so that's going to be a little bit advanced from there. By adding that half rep, we're just increasing the time and attention on the muscle, which just makes it a little bit harder, and also by getting a little bit more range of motion, it's another progression. So for our last exercise in this one, we're going to go through to our advanced, which is going to be a split squat. So now we're working each leg independently. So we're going to take ourselves, start off with your feet into a normal sort of a squat stance position. Big mistake people will be on this is they'll kind of start with their feet here, they'll split their feet and their feet will be too close together, as you can see from here. So I do actually want my feet to be kind of at a squat width. So if I was to come together here, that's what would be my sort of normal squatting stance. So that's how I want my split squat stance to be. Okay. So, and a big mistake you see people doing on these ones in their split squat is as they're coming down, this knee will fold inside the toe there. We always want to look out for that and make sure that knee is pushed out on every rep, kind of in line or outward line of the toe. If you're struggling with that a little bit, try and think about twisting your foot into the floor a little bit like this. You're not actually going to twist your foot, but you're thinking about doing that, kind of grabbing the floor with your foot, and that's going to help keep this knee in the right place. Don't overdo it because you might cause a little bit of stress in the knee, but just a little tip there that can help. So get yourself in that stance, make sure the feet are split nice and widely apart. Not too far, but we definitely don't want to be too close here because we get to here and everything's too bunched up. So pushing back into here, and then from here, hands together like this for a bit of balance, pushing that knee out slightly, down into the bottom position, weights in my heel, my knee is just off the floor, just make contact, don't bang your knee into the floor, drive that heel back up to that top position, okay? All the weight in my heel again, I'm trying to keep my weight forward. The back leg is doing minimal work here, it's all kind of on that forward leg. The last point, and common mistake we often see with these, is when you're doing them, don't let the hips drift forward and then back like this. You're not pushing back off of that front leg. Get your weight forward, and then these hips want to stay in a track. Imagine they're staying in a track here. So sometimes it's useful to actually put your hands on your hips and then just feel that they're dropping in that straight line, and we're driving through, keeping the heel nice and planted, and you should start to feel it in the glute. Okay guys, so that's your squat variation for this program.